to take a continuing credit or pay for childcare anymore. So that happened. I have this, like, all this work from graduate school that I use for. Still can't find a job. I applied for my VA benefits in May of 2010 for PTSD, combat and military sexual trauma, and for a pelvic fracture, and haven't seen any of that, and like couldn't figure out how I was going to pay my mortgage. I haven't paid my mortgage since April of this year, and basically was just in a position where I felt like I couldn't go any further with my degree, couldn't graduate, can't find a job, can't pay my mortgage, can't support my kid, living on food stamps. And it was always like, well, next month I'll get my VA benefits and then everything will be okay. But every month it's been like that, and now it's been 20 months, and I'm not really counting on them anymore. So right before Occupy started, I'd been talking to a group of people from Iraq Veterans Against the War about the possibility of setting up some kind of encampment at different people's homes that had some kind of like control over veterans benefits and the VBA and everything. Because I was just at a point where I was like, well, if I'm going to lose my house, I don't really have anything left to lose. I may as well just pitch a tent and live on it at this person's house, so that when they have to get out of their like nice house every morning, they can see what I look like. Because I've been waiting on them, and I don't have a place to live anymore. So I decided if I was going to get kicked out of my house, I just wanted people to see, like, in person instead of on paper, what a homeless veteran with kids looks like. And then Occupy started, like, right after that, and I was, like, very skeptical of it at first. I was surprised that it actually happened here. But I decided I was going to come down. I stayed here for the first couple weeks. Somebody called Children and Youth Services on me, so I'm, like, probably never going to camp here again. Because I definitely can't afford to lose my kid. But, I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit disrupted, but I'll share my feelings. So, I brought this, which is called a nugget book, because when you're new in my kind of unit, which is an aviation unit, people call you a nugget, and you get a nugget book, which is where you keep all of your information when you're learning how to do your job. But I carried one forever because, and a lot of people do, and mostly I just used it for stuff like part numbers and technical manuals that I needed to reference, and all my jobs are basically all tracked through here. But I had this, like, really long, really, like, difficult, well, basically I filed a sexual harassment claim against my master sergeant, which is, like, kind of unheard of to actually use the equal opportunity system, and it really backfired on me, and I wanted to get as far away from, like, my shop or my boss as I could, because that's basically who it was. So I volunteered for this guard duty, which was the first time I ever interacted with any Iraqi people. And I was just supposed to be, like, guarding them while they, like, did work around the base, usually, like, really menial tasks. And I ended up, like, becoming close with a group of them. They were all, they ranged from about 15 to 70, and they were all male. But there was, like, a core group that was about my age. And we just, like, shared a lot of time together and got close, and it made the war a lot more human. So, years after I got back, and was doing all this other stuff, I found this book in a box of stuff that I had never, like, unpacked after I moved back, and I got to the back pages, and I had found, like, these drawings and things that they had done, and couldn't remember at first what they were, and then remembered they had written their names and drawn these pictures and stuff, and then I saw these, like, torn pages, and remembered like these two people that I've become especially close with, Ahmed and Salam. They were the same age, but Salam was Ahmed's uncle. They had talked a lot about how they had family in Texas and they wanted to immigrate, and they kept asking me for my phone number so they could try to set up some kind of sponsorship. This is like through very poor communication and language barriers too. And I didn't even have a phone number because I was deployed. I didn't live anywhere. I lived in a tent. So I had nothing I could give them. So on my last day, and this is like in this situation where we had to like burn all our mail because there was all this paranoia about the people working on the base stealing our mail and finding our addresses. And so I tore out these pieces and gave them my parents' address at home because I just like wanted them to be able to leave so bad. And the thing is, like, I don't even know if they understood what it was because I didn't communicate it well, and there were like a lot of communication barriers. But I thought about them like all the time after I came back, and I ended up like looking up the town that they live in on the internet, and finding out that the base that I was on was a British colonial base, like a long time ago. And that entire town had basically been in an economic situation where everyone was forced to like work for whichever occupier was there for chump change since like the 1800s. So, I mean, I guess like on one hand I ended up here because of my personal circumstances, but on the other hand I think that like the experiences that I relate to my deployment, to meeting those people, really shape the way that I look at activism and my time and my space here, in terms of acknowledging that like we're not the only people that are struggling. In fact, like, even though I'm really struggling, like, these people have been struggling so much longer in such a different way and are living in like a totally different reality. So I just often think it's important to like realize that this isn't just like some weird disruption of the American dream. This is like something that's actually global and all really connected.
We've been around the circle. Is there anybody else here who has a story you want to tell? All right. Well then, I think that tonight was really amazing. I learned a whole lot about everybody. We've all at times been very frustrated with this project, frustrated with this camp, and it was really, really energizing for me to hear from all of you about why you're here, and what it is we're doing here. And hopefully we can use what we've taken from each other, we've learned from each other about why we're here in helping to shape the project and movement in the world that we want to build going forward. So thanks a lot. As a quick announcement, next Friday, 1 week from today, at 6 o'clock, same bat time, same bat channel. We'll be going back to last week's format, we'll be holding the Organizer Storytelling Hour. We're going to hear from 3 or 4 local organizers about the work they've been doing over a period of time, more in-depth stories than we've heard here, and the focus will be less theoretically, less on why we occupy and more why we occupy the way that we do. Lainey is going to present, and I don't remember who else, but we're an announcement will probably go out over the weekend. So thanks a lot for coming, and we'll see you all tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, and next week right here.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, heads up on the generator.